Hello, my name is Pablo. I am a volunteer in Fundacja Centrum Aktywności Twórczej. Sorry for my Polish pronunciation. It is also known as Fundacja CAT. And we are today in Leszno City Library. They invited us to show you how to make guacamole. I was born and raised in Mexico, and I can assure you that I am quite familiar with this guacamole topic. But before we go on to the recipe, I'm gonna talk about a little bit about my country. My country is located geographically in North America. I am from Guadalajara. Jalisco is the second biggest city in the country after Mexico City. There are about 4 to 5 million people. And when I ask people what they think about Mexico, the first things that come to their minds are tacos, of course. Oh my God, I love tacos. Spicy food, guacamole, of course, tequila, sombrero. They think we all wear sombreros every day. I must say that's not true. They also think that Mexican men have mustache, but I think I'm not the right person to say we don't. People think that Cancun is the only place in Mexico, but I must say that there are many more places besides Cancun. We have beautiful places on the seaside, but we have also mountains, we have forests, we have lakes, we have rivers, we have beautiful big cities and also small towns, villages. So basically that's about my country. Another thing I want to say is that we celebrate the Independence Day on the 15th of September. It's the greatest party of the country. In Christmas times, we have these parties, we call them posada. It's related to religion, and they are celebrated before the Christmas day. So they take place during the first 2 weeks of December every year. And I think those are the biggest celebrations in my country. So now we're gonna go towards the guacamole making. First of all, I'm gonna show you the ingredients we need. This is, to me, the most important thing. Coriander. It must be fresh. Don't forget to have it. You might confuse it with parsley. But what I do before buying the coriander, if I'm confused, I smell it. It has a really particular smell. I love it, by the way. Olive oil. I like to say that this is my personal touch, and I always put it there. So, salt. We also need some salt, just a little bit. As I told you before, we love spicy food, so we need some chile. I normally put chile serrano, that's how we call it. It's green, but here in Leszno, it was kind of impossible to find chile serrano. Onion, you need just a little bit, so no worries if it's just a small onion. Lime, green one, not yellow. The main ingredient, of course, avocado. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It could be Spain, Chile, Peru, Mexico. That's the best one. We need tomato. And the final part, we need tortilla chips. And kitchen supplies, we need a spoon, we need a fork, we need a chopping board, of course, a knife, and a bowl to put everything you've been chopping in, to mix all the ingredients. So we're gonna start now. And first of all, before I start, I must remind you that you must wash the ingredients really well. Wash your hands as well. I did it before starting this session. So let's start. First thing, we need to take one avocado. You cut it in half, like this. And then you split it. As you can see, you have the bone or the seed in one side. The technique I use to take the bone out, I kind of do like this, and it comes out pretty easily, but you should watch your hand and your fingers. There's been some cases that people cut their fingers when they do this, so be careful. Today I'm gonna use only 2 avocados, so I will do this again. You can see it comes up pretty easily. I do this, take the seed out, put it aside, and now what I do is you make kind of a grid on each part of the avocados you have. You can see it's like small squares on the avocado. You do that on each half you have. So in this part as well, you must be really careful when doing it to avoid cutting your hand or your fingers. There you go. So now we need a spoon. We are going to use the spoon to take all the green part out of the skin of the avocado. It's like taking an ice cream scoop like this. So you put everything on the bowl until the skin is empty. You do that with every piece you have. This is gonna be a small portion, and the proportions I use is for every avocado I have, I use 1 tomato. That's the proportions I like, and it has worked for me all the time. So sometimes the avocado price is a bit high, so if you wanna make a big amount but you are kind of running low on money, you buy more tomatoes, less avocado, and you have more guacamole, but with a bit less avocado. I normally cut the onion in the second place before the tomato, because sometimes when you cut the tomato, you kind of squeeze it and all the juice comes on top of the chopping board and it's kind of messy afterwards. So I'm gonna cut the tomato now, the onion now. I cut it in half. And to this amount, I think I'm gonna use just 1/4 of the onion. You chop it pretty nicely on small pieces, small cubes. You also need to be very, very careful with your fingers, especially if your knife is really sharp. So once it is cut, before adding anything else to the bowl, I forgot this part, we need to mash the avocado first. I normally use a fork because you can do it kind of more nicely and easily with this. You mash it like this until you have kind of a puree thing. You might have some bigger pieces as well, but when you're eating it, it's nice from time to time to have a big piece of avocado in your mouth. So this is kind of how it should look. I mashed it. It took me less than 1 minute, pretty easily. And now we need to add the onion to it. Now I'm gonna cut the chili pepper. I normally cut it in half like this and then half again to have smaller pieces. And then like this. Some people don't like to eat spicy things, so if you're not a fan of chili, just don't put any. In my personal opinion, I love it, so I always put a lot of it. Now I'm gonna come to the tomato. Again, be careful with your fingers, with your hands. So I normally go like this. It's better if you cut every item pretty nicely and in small pieces. 1 tomato. As I told you before, I normally use 2 tomatoes. The same amount of avocados than tomatoes. So I had 2 avocados. We can see the seeds here. And I'm gonna chop 1 more tomato to stick to the formula. I'm gonna put it aside. Now we have avocado, chili, onion, tomato. Now, a really important part is the lime. Some people put either no lime at all or the yellow lime. In Mexico, we don't really use the yellow lime. We mostly use the green one, even though this kind of looks yellow, but it's the green one. Lime, we call it limon. And you squeeze it just a bit. Afterwards, you can add a bit more if you feel like it needs more lime. I normally put little by little to not make it too sour since the beginning. And the special touch, this is how I do it. And I like to add a bit of olive oil to make it a bit more creamy. So just a little bit, like a, I don't know, tablespoon of oil. And don't forget the salt. We normally go like this. That's it. I don't put pepper on it because it has a really strong taste and it kind of kills the taste of the lime and the onion and the chili. So I personally don't use pepper, but if you want to try it, feel free to try it at home. And then you mix everything pretty well. It needs to be everything incorporated to the mix. And the very special ingredient I told you at the beginning, it's the coriander. I'm gonna take just a little bit because it's a small amount. And you need to chop it pretty nicely as well. Once you have it, you add it to the mix. And you mix it again. I didn't put it before because if you put it before the first time you mix it, it kind of turns black. So it's better if you don't mix it that much once the coriander is there. So as you can see, the consistency is like kind of creamy. So it is the time to try it. Let's see. I normally use these corn chips. You can find in any supermarket. In Mexico, we use ones that are kind of homemade, but well, here it's kind of impossible to find them. So let's see. Oh my God. It's perfect. To me, it's really good. If you're following us and you're watching this video, you can try to make this at home. Maybe add more lime or even decide to not put even olive oil at all. More salt, more tomato, more of something or less of something. And you can try your own recipe. This is how I personally make it. This is how we make it in my family. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. And thank you to Fundacja CAT and the Leszno City Library for allowing us and giving us this time and this opportunity to share with you this delicious traditional Mexican meal. Thank you very much.